Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Mikel ONeal. I'm the Vice President of Rhode Island Second Amendment Coalition. We are the NRA State Association. I'm just going to touch briefly on the bills that we have before us tonight. First one I'd like to talk about is 2761. This is a carry on school grounds. Found on the Crime Prevention Center that we have around 12.5 million carry concealed permit holders in the United States. This is approximately 2.5 million instances a year where a carry concealed permit holder either saves his life, his family's life, or a stranger's life with his carry concealed permit. Tennessee is passing a law that will eliminate gun-free zones. Missouri passed a law recently where they are going to arm K through 12 teachers, principals, and other employees. California, a town in California, which California probably has the strictest gun control in the nation, took it upon themselves to arm their teachers and their principals. So the country is going in a different direction. Gun-free zones don't work. This law has been in effect since 1990. That allows us to carry on school grounds. In 26 years, there have been no incidences where a carry concealed permit holder has done anything wrong. So to take that away when the country is going in a different situation, last year we, before the Senate recessed for the summer, I sat in this chair, a state trooper, and then there was a Moms Against Gun Violence person here, and I testified first, and I said, sooner or later, the way the country is going, we're going to have an ISIS issue in the country, and I believe that they will take a gun-free zone as far as the school, and they will react to that. And the gentleman on the end said, no way. Well, 2 months later, we had Oregon College, ISIS sympathizer. He killed, I don't remember how many, I want to say from 5 to 10 people. So they are in the country, and they are coming this way. And for us to change from having a carry concealed permit holder allowed to carry on school grounds is a step backwards. The country's going in a total different avenue now. They recognize that we really have to protect our children, and a gun-free zone will not do it. There's no data that says a gun-free zone has actually saved anyone's lives. It doesn't. It only stops the law-abiding citizen. It doesn't stop the criminal. It doesn't stop the mentally ill. You know, and we've passed legislation as far as the mentally ill prospect of it. 2013, we had we had the council on it that went over it for a year, and then it came up with, and they produced it where the NICS system would have to have anyone that's gone to a mental facility that was forced to go, that they would be in the NICS system. And until their issue was squared away, then they would be able to go before a panel and have it removed if the panel deemed warranted. So, I mean, these are the issues when it comes to, you know, that's the issues with the gun-free zones. It's not the law-abiding citizen. We should protect our children. And to take this away, it's a big mistake, in my opinion. So, moving on.
Senator Archambault.
Yes, sir. Just a comment on that. I think that the Moms Demand Action, I think in the mothers and the groups in this country that are advocating for gun control, I think that the spirit of what they want to accomplish with respect to this bill is very sincere, very genuine, because they really want to protect children. And the people that are advocating, as you are, for elimination of gun-free zones have that same spirit. We all want to protect children. And the question spawned is, what's the best way in those instances where you're on school grounds and some lunatic has a gun? And personally, and I know Senator Lombardi was talking about this when I was on, I stepped out for a minute. I could hear his comments when I came in, the end of his comments. I've said this in the past. Personally, if we're going to issue law-abiding concealed carry permits to people who can carry those guns and qualify and have clean BCIs, I'd rather know that there's at least a chance that someone can put down a lunatic in a situation where they decide to kill innocent people, particularly children. Heinously egregious. Any loss of human life is a travesty, but children. I'm heartened to hear that the country's going in the direction where we want to take more preventative measures on schools, and that certain people may actually be, bless you, may be qualified in carrying firearms who are in the administration of the school, because I don't know what the policy is in other states, but when we were kids, you didn't have police officers in schools, and now you have police officers in schools, and I think that's a very sound thing. It's good that we have police officers. It's good that we have an officer there with a firearm today when lunatics can try to come, and it's good that the school doors are locked. That's a step in the right direction. That's really sound because it's going to protect our children. And equally, I think that law-abiding citizens who can carry guns certainly shouldn't be restricted from carrying them where there could be the greatest risk. And I haven't been persuaded by the other argument, but I want to qualify by saying that I do think that there's sincerity on both sides here. We're all trying to accomplish a common goal, and that really resonates with me. And I want to be clear about that. But I agree with your comments.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. O'Neill, I apologize for interrupting, but before I forget, both Senator Nesselbush and Senator Raptakis are asking that they be recorded in the affirmative on the bills that we voted on earlier. Thank you. Mr. O'Neill, you may continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to add a little bit to 2490, I'm sorry, 2761. The federal government did a study from 2001 to 2013 on all mass shootings that were done in the United States. And the biggest issue that they came up with was the time frame. In other words, if someone goes in to do a mass shooting, it takes minutes and it's over. Either the gunman's dead or the gunman has fled. So the biggest issue that they came up with, that by the time the police department gets there, and I'm not saying they're taking 15 minutes to get there, it could be 2 to 3 minutes for them to get there. It's already over. So for me, if you have a carry concealed permit that you have a chance of it, to have a carry concealed permit holder at the school at that time, I think there's better odds than the police department getting there and it's already over because of the amount of time it takes to do something like this. So I just want to stress that this is the reason why we really want carry concealed permit holders to stay, because the amount of time that it takes the police department to get there, it's already over, and again, it's not 15 minutes. It's a matter of minutes, and the situation is over. So at least we'd have some type of prevention, if at all possible, if we still allow carry concealed permit holders to carry on school grounds.
Senator Archambault.
Anticipating the argument that'll come from the opponents on it, and just to move things along a little bit, and they can clearly speak in their own right. The argument, essentially, as you know, is that if someone has a concealed carry permit on school property and some lunatic decides to kill people, that the person with the concealed carry permit may shed innocent blood. They may not be trained as well as a police officer when it comes to carrying a firearm. Do you know of any statistical evidence where there's been any mass shooting and someone has tried to come to the aid of the public and has spilled innocent blood?
Not that I'm aware of. And I really can't give you an answer on that, Senator.
I say it almost rhetorically. I know that there'll be some comment on it, but I think if there were to even be that instance, and I'm just talking sort of ad hoc here, I just anecdotally, that it would be an aberration, really. So the exception and not the rule. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Moving on to 2490. The word ownership is still in this bill, and it's a huge problem for me. The third party, is being taken out. There's no remedy to get back your firearms. The city of Cranston currently is being sued by the ACLU because for 20 years they have not returned a person's firearms when the judge is so ordered. So The third party, as Frank Scotia mentioned earlier, is not an issue in this state. So why they want to take that out, I don't understand that. And in a couple of the other bills, it gets into where if they scrap the firearm, that you get what the scrap was for the firearm, and then some of the storage costs will be taken off the scrap. Some of the firearms are worth from $800 to $150,000. I don't think that's rightfully fair that someone loses that kind of investment. She's not allowed to own firearms. You should be able to either have the FFL sell it for him or transfer it to somebody in the family or whatever the case is, but he shouldn't lose his investment on it. So that's probably one of my biggest issues. 2835 is the magazine ban. I'll touch on that lightly because Jake from NSFS is here and he'll get into that pretty detailed. They did a study after the assault weapons ban from the Clinton era and found that the magazine ban and assault weapons ban did not do any changing of saving crime. Their studies did not think that anything occurred from having the assault weapons banned or the magazine banned. Moving on to 2645, the minors bill. Line 17. Line 16. This provision shall not apply to such persons that are in presence of a parent, guardian, qualified adult at any regular recognized shooting range or any range where the firearm is lawfully to be shot. Now, this contradicts Section 20, which is where a 15-year-old can hunt on his own. So that's an issue where, as I stated in the earlier lines, that you have to have a parent or guardian or an adult with you. I mean, 15-year-olds have been hunting for years in this state, and that would just contradicts with Chapter 20 on that. Okay. I went over 2519 as far as the red and orange plastic pieces on the end of toy firearms. $25.64, I believe that because of the loan word that's in there, we have junior shooters that are allowed to take their firearms home. That gun clubs will have a junior shooting program, and they'll assign one firearm to that junior, and the parents take that firearm home, and that's what he continuously fires. So his specifications of how the firearm's adjusted to me is, is set with one firearm. So that would kind of, put people in jeopardy and put programs in jeopardy if that bill passes, as far as my opinion on that. I'll move on to Senate Bill 2447, which I am very happy that we have submitted this bill. It's long overdue. As Frank Scotia mentioned earlier, the lawsuit that went to Supreme Court in 2015, where the town of East Providence was sued and lost the case. Currently, there's 7 to 10 people who have directed to David Strackman, who won that case, because the city of East Providence, again, is not issuing permits. Even though the AG has sent letters to all the cities and towns, a lot of them still refuse to issue, like Pawtucket. The police chief has basically stated that he will never issue a carry concealed permit. There's 5 people that have been in contact with me that are getting ready to do a class action suit against him. What this bill does for us is it gives us an even playing field. As of right now, you have to go to the Supreme Court. This will knock it down to Superior Court, so you have a fighting chance. Your case will be heard. We're not asking for permitless carry. We're not asking for constitutional carry. We're just asking for a level playing field. You have 39 cities and towns, and you have 39 different applications. State of Massachusetts, I currently have a permit. Every city and town has the same application. The Attorney General has the same application. I have to fill mine out and renew it every year. But Rhode Island, some are 30 pages, some are 15 pages, some ask ridiculous, how's your credit? It's way, it needs to be standardized, and you know, all we're asking for is like I said earlier, even playing field, and to give us a shot at, you know, at least if there's a denial, we have ways to remedy the situation and have a free chance at it, that we can defend ourselves and say this is why we should have the permit. Where right now, the police chiefs do not want to follow the law at all. A lot of them. A lot of them have changed their process. Cumberland, Johnston, and Cranston, they are issuing now, since this case in East Providence. So, moving on to
How about Warwick? Are they issuing them now?
I'm sorry?
Warwick.
Warwick is, yes, sir. 2416, it's the reciprocity bill. As we are the small state, and we have Massachusetts and Connecticut next to us, and as you know, that some of our borders, where if you go from Pawtucket to Barrington and you have to travel en masse, and even if you try and skirt it, it'll end up where you're breaking the law because you're in Massachusetts. So to avoid doing a one-year mandatory sentence, it's either you get a Massachusetts permit or, you know, at least if we're reciprocity where Massachusetts will recognize us, that'll alleviate a lot of issues that we have, and especially with Connecticut. Same thing. You take a wrong turn and you're in Connecticut and you're getting pulled over, and next thing you know, well, officer, I was in Rhode Island. I don't know how I ended up in Connecticut. Doesn't matter. You're getting locked up. So we're trying to alleviate a lot of that issue. And with that, I am done. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer. Was that quick enough, Mr. Chairman?
Fine. Are there any questions for Mr. O'Neill? Thank you.